Today I want to talk about how you can pick the person that's going to run your Google Ads. There's a lot of different options. And Google Ads, it's the platform anybody can log in and start making changes, start building campaigns and everything. But there's pros and cons to hiring someone in your office, hiring a large agency that has 30 employees, or hiring someone from overseas off of Fiverr, or hiring a local freelancer, or you just doing it yourself. So there's several options. And so I'll kind of go through them with you, and you can kind of decide which one's best for you. I'm going to start with the first one that most people think of, and that is trying to do it themselves, just logging into Google Ads and start trying to figuring it out. And it's not hard to figure it out, but there are about 1,000 switches. So you want to get a lesson from someone, you want to watch some videos. And I think that the business owner managing the Google Ads is very effective, probably one of the most effective ways, in my opinion, to run Google Ads. I've taught a lot of business owners how to do it because the business owner can see in real time what's happening in the physical world that has been caused by what they did in Google Ads. They can see that if they crank up the spend on a certain keyword for the day, suddenly they hear the phone ringing more across the office. And they hear more good calls coming in. They pause Google Ads the next day and they see the phones are slower. They can see the cause and effect in real time, faster than anybody else can, and they're paying attention more to Google Ads and more to the physical world than anybody else would. The only thing I'd say is get some lessons, get some help from myself. There's a lot of guys like me that will come in your office, sit down next to you, help you build the campaign, and build the campaign specifically for your business, not just give you a general Google Ads lesson, and then maybe give you consulting once a week to go over what you're doing and make sure it's going okay. But that's one of the best options. Something else people will do is they'll hire someone off Fiverr, or just hire someone that they never meet face to face. This can work. It is risky. There can be language barriers with this, especially if the price is cheap. And you want to make sure, this person's going to be able to see your credit card information in Google Ads because your card number is going to be in there, So be very careful, be safe. You'll probably get a very cheap management price. And you want to make sure that person is willing to meet with you on a regular basis to go over everything and make sure everything's working well. But you can try that out. I've heard some people have had good luck. You do want to, it's better to be able to meet the person face to face. So if you do just hire somebody off one of those task websites like TaskRabbit or Fiverr or Upwork, you want to make sure they're in your local area is my advice, and make sure occasionally you can meet them face to face. There is more accountability, and people do better work whenever you can meet face to face and they get to know you better. It's just old school thinking that still works. So another option is hiring someone as a new employee and bringing them in to handle maybe Google Ads and maybe some other parts of your marketing. Maybe we'll call this one a junior marketer. Maybe somebody that just graduated with a marketing degree but really hasn't gotten their hands into marketing platforms like Google Ads, Facebook Meta, LinkedIn Ads, SEO, AEO, GEO, all this marketing stuff. And you're hiring them to be like your new marketing guy. You can expect to pay them $50,000 to $70,000 a year. If you don't pay them that much, they'll find another job real quick once you give them a title and they put it on LinkedIn. So you do want to pay them at least enough. The downside is, you got to integrate them into, the culture. Set them up with a desk or have them work from home. Get them a laptop. Set them up with all the software and everything. It does cost a bit. The good thing is, if you can find a loyal person that'll stay around for a while, then they can get better and better at it as they learn more about your business and they learn how to manage all these different platforms, set them up, start setting up measurements and things like that. And you have full access to them, and you do have some control over their time. They have to come to meetings, not like a freelancer like myself, who if you ask me to show up to a meeting, I may have meetings already with another customer. So I may have to say, no, can we reschedule? But an employee that you've got as a W-2, you say, hey, the meeting's at 8 a.m. on Monday, they need to show up, So there is a control factor there. They are more expensive than a freelancer. Obviously, you're going to pay a freelancer a quarter of what you're going to pay an actual employee. once you add in all the equipment costs and subscription fees that come along with that, and cost of the laptop and medical insurance and all that, but you will have the luxury of control. So if it's a high volume business, and you're doing, $1 million a month, it might be worth it to have somebody come in. You just have to be real careful who you hire and how you hire them. So I'll go on to the next option, would be a senior level marketer. And this would be like a generalized marketing person that would manage not only your Google Ads, like I said before, Facebook, Meta, SEO, AEO, GEO, reviews, maybe the website. You're normally going to pay them anywhere between $80,000 and $100,000, and I'm talking about salaries here in Texas. Salaries might be different in different areas, obviously. So you might go to salary.com and check it out. But it's going to be the same scenario as the junior, except you're going to want this person, instead of being in kind of like learning mode and discovery mode, they're going to be more in advisory mode. They're going to perform the execution, show you the results, talk to you about what's happening in the physical world, and hopefully they will, they're obviously going to be a self-learner. Most people that are good at all the different marketing platforms and marketing strategies online are self-teachers. They go online, they learn things, they read stuff, they watch educational videos on all this stuff. And a senior level is going to come with, 5-6 years experience from other places, and they'll be able to bring ideas to the table and bring new stuff to the table. So it is, if you're looking for growth and you're looking to experiment with new marketing ideas, the senior level internal W-2 employee is the way to go. And just like with the junior employee, you have more control over their time. They have to go to meetings. If you want them to go work with other departments for a day so they can learn what that department does, if you want them to go do photography so they have things to post, you want them to make videos, they can do it. They don't have other customers on the side. I need to address that. Anyone you hire internally, there's a good chance they do have a few customers on the side. And you may want to address that up front and let them know, hey, I'm aware you may have a couple customers on the side. Maybe their friend has a barbershop. Maybe another friend has a little restaurant. Who knows, right? But these side customers may not take up much time. And you may want to address that up front and just tell them that they may have some. But those people, those little side customers, cannot interfere with their job during the daily schedule. If they're telling you they can't make a meeting at 1 o'clock, you're going to have to be a little firm and say, yeah, you can make it. You're getting paid to be here from 8 to 6 or whatever it is, especially if you're letting them work from home. So you'll want to just address it up front. Don't pretend they don't have any. And, if they don't have any whenever you hire them, they're going to get some. Because people that are acquaintances of digital marketers are always asking them questions, always asking them for advice. And then once they're done giving advice, the question at the end of the conversation is, well, can you do that for me? And of course the answer is yes, and I'll charge you this much and I'll do it. And now that person's calling them regularly, asking them to do more work. So just be aware of that and be ready for that. But it is a good option, especially if you're looking for high growth and control, and just to make sure someone's covering all the bases. The next one, I'll check on my notes here. And no, I don't edit all this out of my video. Pick a current employee. So you could pick a current employee that you have that's already loyal, someone that you don't think is ever going to go anywhere. And so now you've already got the loyalty part established, which eliminates a lot of risk, because as opposed to hiring the junior or senior digital marketer that we previously spoke about, this person has already shown loyalty. Maybe it's that employee that just does whatever you ask, doesn't complain. They're the glue that holds the place together. You're like, this guy's not going anywhere. We gel well. They're happy with the pay. I'm going to invest in them, and I'm going to get them lessons in Facebook Meta, Google Ads, how to do SEO, how to do AEO, how to make edits on the website that you have, all this different stuff, how to write blogs, how to edit and make videos and things like that. And that is a very good option to do that. It does take time to invest. You have to give them time to learn everything, but they've already got the knowledge of how your business works. So they don't have to be trained on what your business does, how it works, and all the different departments and all the nuances and how the customer thinks. They already know all that. You're just teaching them a new skill to apply to that. So I think this is a very good option. And we call this the key employee or the loyal employee. And I have trained a few loyal employees and it's worked out very well. One thing that happened is that loyal employee had a certain humility to them, which is probably part of why they were so loyal. Uh, and that humility stayed, but they got a lot more confidence after they learned all this stuff and realized that learning digital marketing gives them a lot of power to control how busy they are, how many customers they get, how easy it is to make payroll. They start seeing the results of what they're doing because they do something online, and like I said, they see the phone ring. They see they see more leads coming in, and they're like, "Oh, I did that, and oh, I have a skill now." So you take this possibly overly humble employee that maybe was unhealthily humble and super loyal. Now they're confident, but they gained that confidence while they were working for you, and they gained it because you invested in them. So it's actually a big deal. I think it's like 3 or 4 times that I've done it. I can think of 3 right now, and those guys walk completely differently than they did when I first met them. They walk with a lot of pride, a lot of sternness, and the other employees see them differently. Maybe before they saw them as the glue that held the place together, that maybe they could ask them to do too many things. Now they're the employee that you sort of don't want to fuck with. So it's a very interesting thing that happens when your loyal, overly humble key employee starts learning something and becoming very effective and becoming very confident. So this is a very good option if you have one of these people. Not everybody has one of these people. But if you're lucky enough to, I'd highly suggest it. The other option is, you can set up as an owner, you can set up all these different marketing platforms, Google Ads, Meta, everything. And then you can get a representative from each one of those companies to be kind of like your contact at that company. So Google will assign a Google employee to your account. Now that employee has like 100 accounts that they're managing, right? And relationships, but they'll meet with you once every 2 weeks or once a week, depending on how much you're spending. And they'll give you advice and tell you what they think you should do. This is not as effective as, this is probably, this isn't as effective as having the key employee do it or having a freelancer do it or it might be as effective as having an internal employee, like a new employee that's junior or senior level, because that Google employee knows all the ways that the Google platform works. The Facebook employee knows all the way the Facebook platform works, right? So they can give you all kinds of advice and ideas. At the end of the day, if the marketing campaigns don't work because of their advice, they still have their job at Google or Facebook or whatever, right? But the difference is if those employees that are W-2 or your freelancer or your loyal employee, if the campaigns don't work for them, they run the risk of like losing their job. So they have a vested interest in it working, whereas the employees at the large internet marketing companies, they have 100 other customers. So you're not like the only thing on their mind for 40 hours a week. So it's another option. I've seen employees at these companies give great advice and make things work well. And I've seen some things completely explode. And when they explode, you can't meet with that person. They will, even if they realize that this employee messed up, and gave you bad advice, they'll just take them off your account, put somebody new on your account, and you'll never find that employee again. So there is an accountability thing, and your money's gone, by the way. They mess up, they're not crediting you back. It's very rare that they credit anything back unless there's solid proof that it was their fault. So that one's a little bit risky, but I have seen it work. So those are the different ways that you can hire someone to manage your internet marketing. There's a lot to it. A lot of people go through 7 or 8 different employees / freelancers / just different ways of trying to get this thing to work. And like I said, the most effective thing is that the owner understands, and I'll finish with this, the owner understands internet marketing really well. When that happens, the business does really well. even if he's having someone else manage it, the owner can at least inspect what they're doing. So a business owner investing in themselves and taking the time to understand how this stuff works is the most effective thing they can do. Because if you're blindly hiring someone to do something that you don't understand very well, or you just understand a little bit, it can explode and you have no idea why. You have no idea how to fix it. And when it explodes, it usually costs a lot of money because you're paying for clicks or paying for impressions. So those are the different ways. Give me a call if you like the freelancer option or the self-education option. I can help you with those. Chris at Sefri Agency. Hope this video helps.